podcasts that we've done that I've literally went through the whole thing just off balance and dizzy. So, I'll use that for my tongue-tied reason. There we go.
In here, I thought you were always like that.
Yeah, I'm using that as my excuse tonight. So can you give out your info once more? Because we got listeners asking for that.
Sure. It is pat-o'keefe.com or fullmooncaravan.com. And they can also email me at hauntedphotographer@gmail.com. That's hauntedphotographer@gmail.com.
All right. Well, I know our listeners had a blast with you tonight.
And I know one's probably going to be in touch with you really soon.
All right. Thank you all so much, Becky and Will. It's been a pleasure. Although, Will, you're kind of the silent partner here. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. This is, one of those things that I hate to say it. I'm really a big skeptic of things in life, so I'll probably be getting with everybody to see how close you were. But no, it's been interesting. It's been real.
Yeah, he's the skeptic of the entire team. The only, and he admits this freely, the only reason he's involved is because of me. And so he's crushed my dreams. No.
I'm a dream crusher.
Because of the fact that, I'll sit there and I'll go and investigate and I'll be hearing, this noises, and he'll be like, that is not paranormal. Don't get your hopes up,
Well, Becky, don't feel bad. My husband is an engineer. Whenever we go into a new location, he'll look around and he says, this is a biohazard. And I'm like, well, yeah, I promise you.
Yeah, that's Will, he's like debunking everything, which is good to points, but at the other time I'm like, can you just give me one experience? Come on. Let me have that one thing.
Well, I haven't done well like him, so I understand completely.
Yeah. The only thing he can't debunk, though, is the fact when I get, that off balance or weird feelings, he can't steer me away from those. So.
That's a lack of vitamin C.
A lack of vitamin C. See? He has to come up with an excuse for everything.
Nah, I'm just playing.
Actually, I've noticed one thing about skeptics is often they're the last person to ask for a reading. And I'm not quite sure why that is, but it does seem to kind of be a pattern. I had one gentleman that owns a company. I was in, where was I? I was in Atlanta, Days of the Dead. I was reading there. And he brought 7 of his employees to me. And, at the very end, finally got a reading. And he was a skeptic. And he told me, he said, wow, you tell something different to everyone. And I'm like, yeah. And he said, no, you don't understand. He said, I go to a lot of these. He said, I'm a huge skeptic. And he said, and I always pay for my employees, and I always sit there, and they always read off a sheet. He said, you could just see them memorizing the sheet. And I'm like, well, not every psychic or every medium is a fake. Now, that doesn't mean that every psychic and medium is going to get everything right. But if you are like one of his employees I was reading for, I said, you have a spiritual God, I said, on this earth, I said, and he's got dreadlocks, and I said, and he wears this big yellow thing on his head, it's knitted, and he said, yeah, he said, that is my spirit, that's my spiritual God. He kind of has his guru. Do I have a moment to just say just one more thing before we end?
Feel free. Go as long as you want.
Okay, one thing, I had this young woman come to me, and she said, I want to be a medium. I'd started this, but I wanted to make this point. And I said, that's awesome. And this is where I'm going to get in trouble. And she said, yes. She says, and I've worked with so-and-so, and I went to this workshop, and I've studied under this person. And she's looking at me, and I'm like, you're not a medium. That's not your gift. You have gifts, but this is not it. And, my message is find your own gift, because most of them have it. Most of us have a gift of some sort, and cherish that gift and build that gift. But if you don't have, if I am not Martina Navratilova, I can study under the best in the world, and I will never, ever be at Wimbledon. I just won't. You know, I don't have whatever that essence is, you know, the physicality, the mental, you know, state of a true athlete in that arena to compete, to be the best, et cetera, et cetera. In other words, find your gift, embrace that gift, and just because something might be popular at the moment or look interesting, it's not that you can't add that. It's not that you can't learn about that, but you're missing the true essence of who you are and what your gift is if you do that. So just something for listeners to consider.
And how would you suggest that they go about finding their gift? Like me, like I have no clue what I am. I just know that I've been sensitive to things, and that's all I've been able to know, is that I've been sensitive to things. So how do people go about that?
Well, you're an energy empath. You know, that's why you're so good at security, so to speak, or danger, because you feel that change in energy and you recognize it right away as being something that could be problematic in the area of safety. It's not just in that area, but you really excel there. Know yourself. Just know yourself. Pay attention to the fact that maybe Aunt Mildred calls and you know who it is before you answer the phone. If there's a pattern of these things, then if it's, you know, if it's becomes common, or if you notice patterns, or connect with that. And like with you, you understand that you do connect with energy, you know, which is an empathic type of talent. And so now that you're aware of it, every time you encounter a different energy, like someone you don't like on contact, the first moment that you meet them, it's a feeling. And you know that feeling. And so the more you recognize it, the more you connect with it, the easier it is for you to recognize it the next time. And here's the other thing. If you really polish that gift, if you work with that gift, even a psychopath, and let me tell you, the top psychiatrists in the country will tell you that a psychopath can fool anyone. And I would argue a psychopath can fool anyone except someone who has that connection to energy, because their energy is so different that you'll recognize it.
All right.
So just being aware of patterns, being aware of the fact that you can connect with energy, and it's not just, you know, one faceted. This is multifaceted for you. You know, start becoming aware of people's moods. You know, are they happy? Are they sad? You'll be able to connect with that and know without somebody telling you. I mean, it's a very powerful gift. And the thing about being empathic and expanding on that gift for someone like you is you have to be careful that all of a sudden you aren't wearing the world's baggage, because now you can connect with, say, depression. Well, this right now, the world is out of balance. The world is depressed. And so you're going to connect with that, and it can become your burden. So you have to be very careful not to do that. So, you know, be aware of your gift, work with your gift. I mean, that patterns will tell you.
Well, thank you so much.
I hope that helped. Yeah. I just have a problem with gurus.
Right.
You can
right.
And here's another thing that I didn't mention, and I should have first. You ask about how you're going to know. The divine energy talks to you all the time. Those patterns I mentioned were just instances where your gift was on display, the gift that has been allotted to you by divine energy. Just follow your path. It's that simple.
Oh, I keep questioning mine.
I think you're where you're supposed to and I think you know that there's a balance to you that I don't feel in a whole lot of people. But it also is so funny. It's like you're so grounded, but then I don't know what your chart is. I'd love to see it. It's like you take wing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You can be so grounded, and yet all of a sudden it's like your imagination. And Will, don't knock that out of her. I'm not literally. I'm just saying, the rare gift. That kind of imagination, or Jules Verne had that kind of imagination when he imagined, the submarine in Thousand Leagues Under the Sea, or the spaceship into the moon. I mean, it takes that kind of mind that can be released from the physical to see the impossible. And that's a very rare gift. So, embrace that. And I know it throws you off at times.
Yeah, it does.
Because, isn't it? It's like, here is grounded Becky, and then what happened? Becky's up in space somewhere.
Yep. Oh, that happens quite often, and that grounded Becky is the one that questions my path all the time. So,
but think about this: if you were not on this path, you would be denying that other half of you, and it would not nourish the Becky who is grounded. It would not. You're going to have to do a balance between the two, and to feed and to to really work with both sides of that. I'm not saying you're a split personality.
Right.
I am saying that you are dealing with a soul. I swear, if I didn't know, I'd swear you were a Gemini, because you have these two essences, one of the air and then one that is so grounded, and there's two totally different energies. Sorry, going off on this, but to help you try to understand your energy. And no, I'm not a guru. I'm a teacher. I share what I know.
Yeah, my grandmother was kind of the same way, so I kind of get it. My grandma she was one of those people that I admired the most in my life, and she was kind of out there at times, some people would say, but yeah, I kind of get the same energy from her, I think.
You know what it is, though? When we talk about magic, it's, people see that in spells and potions, and yet it's in energy. It's around us. It's in us. It's you. It's that ability that you have to let go and to see what others can see, or to feel what others cannot see. That's magic.
All right.
And that's...
Yeah. And Will's just sitting here going, okay.
That's all right. The one thing about Will, I'm going to mention something, and you probably know this. When the Skyan, the titan of all modern IT, Steve Jobs, was dying, his last words were, as he looked over the heads of his wife and in the room, was, "Oh wow, oh wow, oh wow." So even the IT god himself, Steve Jobs, connected in the end to the other, and it is a beautiful thing. And there's an old saying, you don't have to believe, but God believes in you. So it's as simple as that. And I'm not religious, by the way. I'm spiritual. There's a huge difference.
Oh, I know the difference between the two.
I was going to whip out my Bible and start beating you over the head with it.
Oh, he could use a good beating every once in a while.
Yeah, I think you could use a good beating. The old Iron Maiden that used to be in the medieval times, I think you need to go in that.
This is what we do. We tease each other. We level each other out. And I swear my team, Tucson Ghost Society, they have to be one of the best teams around, because they do not get offended with our jokes and our behavior. we're very blunt. We don't hold back things, so...
I've got something for you.
Oh, okay. What do you got?
What do I hide?
What do you hide?
What do you hide?
Yes.
He hides a lot. Please tell me it's $1 million.
I can tell you one thing that you hide that you're not going to